So I want to talk about a subject that comes up a lot in discussion, and probably the most discussed thing when people are looking to buy a guitar, and that's playability. And quite often the people will talk about the string length as being an issue, or the width of the nut, the shape of the neck, how bulky or thick it is it C-shaped, is it D-shaped? There's a lot of stress and concern and all that. And I'm coming to the conclusion after lots and lots of discussions with people who have tendon problems in their hands and become much more limited in the kind of guitar they can play. What we found is that many people can still play guitars of all sizes and shapes and string lengths, and that doesn't seem to matter so much. There's a critical thing that isn't really discussed very much, and I'm coming to the realization that it's a very critical part of playability, and this affects both hands. And that's what we call the lateral tautness of the top. Now let's explain that. The stiffness of the top, and by lateral what we mean is not in the direction of the grains, but in the direction in the direction that you pull the string, that you grip and pull the string. There's a stiffness there, and that can greatly influence, to both hands, the playability of a guitar. And I recently really came to this realization in a big way when I acquired this guitar a couple of years ago. This is a Miguel Rodriguez, and on paper it should be absolutely unplayable. The string length on this is almost 670 millimeters. It's very long. It's longer than the longest scale guitars. I've actually measured it today in the office and it came out to 668. So the width here at the nut is 54 millimeters, and it's kind of it's a beefy neck. I mean, the shape of it's very comfortable, but this is a guitar that a lot of people would dismiss immediately, but the top on this is so loose that it plays like butter. And I've noticed that when I go home and I have a practice session, let's say on one of my 650 guitars, one of my smaller guitars or standard sized guitars, and I've gotten through, let's say, a couple hours of practicing or whatever, and I'm pretty warmed up, I pull this out, I play everything faster, easier, more accurately than I was playing on my smaller guitars. Absolutely astonishing, and I credit that to the soundboard here, that what we call the lateral tautness. This is an extremely loose guitar, and it makes it ridiculously comfortable to both hands. And one last thing about string length, when we talk about the difference between, say, a 650 and a 660, which you commonly see, you're talking about 10 millimeters of string length, which is really only about 5 millimeters of string length in the playing area, where you're doing 99% of your playing, or 95% of your playing. And so we're talking about 5 millimeters distributed over 12 frets. And if you have ever seen how small a millimeter is, it's quite insignificant. So, but this is something that gets talked about a lot, and I just want to draw attention to people that when we talk about this, I think that might be, it's possible the largest contributing factor to playability is this lateral stiffness in the top. And just to put this all into context, when I talk about the difference between a 660 and a 650, and I say there's 5 millimeters being spread out across the 12 frets of the playing area, that's less than half a millimeter per fret on average, distance change. And just to show you what a half a millimeter looks like, I've got my reading glasses on here and I can barely even see it. It's so insignificant. It's absolutely tiny what a half a millimeter really is. And so we got to put that into context here.
Wow, this guitar is so comfortable. I can't believe it's 660. It's
actually closer to 670.
No,
yeah.
It's such a comfortable instrument. I can't tell. I would never be able to tell if I didn't know. So it's all about the playability, not really about the scale length, I guess.
Yeah, scale length is very secondary, I think. Yeah. Much more secondary than we've been believing for a long time.
Yeah, no, really easy to play. What's the deal with it?
Did you feel any extra tension in your hands or stress, or did you feel that you had to reach harder?
No. It feels really easy to play, easy for my hands. What's the scale length on this?
670 almost. 668.
670.
668 to be exact.
No, you're kidding.
Yeah.
I've played Ramirez's that are shorter than this.
Probably because of the stiffnesses in the tops. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
668?
Yes.
I've never played a 668 in my life.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is cool. I feel like, I don't know, maybe it's just me personally. I tend to have sort of a lighter right hand. And I feel like this gives me what I want.
It's contributing.
Yeah, exactly.
It gives you a little bounce.
Exactly.
It helps with the push.
It's everything you want in a guitar as far as the easiness goes of playing.
But do you feel any handicap at all by the size?
No, not at all. It feels easier than my guitar. Way easier. Especially like you said, the lateral stiffness. 'Cause the only way to determine how stiff a guitar is, I guess, is just to play it and then feel how it, or see how it feels.
And keep in mind, there are some players who play better on stiffer guitars. But typically when people are complaining about the difficulty of how difficult a guitar is, I think they zoom into the wrong things. They talk about string lengths and, you know, width of the fingerboard and this kind of thing. I think what they should be looking for is a top that's a lot looser.
And someone who plays better on a stiffer guitar, would that generally be someone who just has like a heavier, stronger right hand?
Typically, yeah, guys like Marcelo Collett, I think of, or Julian Bream, or even Segovia, players who really push the guitar hard. And that supported their style of sound and the kind of the musicality that they were wanting. They needed a guitar that kind of resisted them a little bit, so that they could control the sound in a different way. But for most people who aren't Breams or Segovias or Marcelo Callett's with really powerful right hands, who are just looking for an easier guitar, I think you should be thinking about how the top is responding laterally, like as we say.
Yeah, it's not something I always think about when I first pick up a guitar, but now it's going to be.
Yeah. And the reason I bring this up is because it's something that's not talked about very much.
Yeah.
And it's subtle and it's a little bit maybe abstract and kind of hard to understand. And it's not as easy to do as measure the string length, which is really easy to do. Anybody can do that. But I think a lot of time is spent worrying about these other factors, which do contribute a little bit too. Everybody has different hand shapes and that kind of thing, and you know, you've got to find something that's comfortable. But I think this has been misdiagnosed for a long time. This thing that has been brought to my attention recently, and with this guitar, really fully woke me up.